sailing becomes more of a therapeutic thing. You just talk about anything that's going on in your life or that has passed or whatnot, and share knowledge of, which prosthetist may be better or this or that. It's not only about sailing, it's about just sharing all the knowledge you have of how you've been going through and how you've been getting over some of the hurdles. And, everybody enjoys that. And obviously sailing is just great because you're just out there nice and calm, and everyone tends to kind of relax and just, start talking about whatever that comes to the mind. So it's great.
I was terrified to do this stuff. I'm very introverted. I'm not one for going out and trying to be the center of anything, but I have found my home with these people, and everybody has a different adaptivity, different disability, and each one of them has taught me something new about myself and things that I didn't realize and things that I struggle with personally. Somebody else here does. I can guarantee it. If you are struggling with, your mental health, your physical injuries, things of that nature, even internal injuries, TBIs, everybody here has struggled through that. There's not an individual here that I haven't met that hasn't gone through something that I've gone to, or close enough where we can relate. So I would say, get out of your box, get out of your shell, trust yourself and trust us that we will be there for you. We'll walk you through the steps. And even if you're not good at sports, there's no better way to bond with somebody than here.
One prime example of how military adaptive sports changed lives is when the recent Warrior Games was canceled. It really devastated a lot of members that they couldn't play military adaptive sports for a little bit, right? Because a lot of military members look forward to that camaraderie, look forward to meeting their friends again, look forward to just playing, engaging, having fun, conversation, just fellowship with each other. And it drew a lot of people into depression. It drew a lot of people, like even today, as we cycled during our care event, one of the members said they put their bike down and put it in the garage because the Warrior Games was canceled and haven't cycled again. So today, coming together, they was like, man, this feels great. I miss this. So it's like, wow, I can't believe, I thought I was sad or I thought I was down about it, but it really impacted a Marine member. And we're coming together, and I feel like military adaptive sports is needed in a community. Every community should have it, especially for veterans. Yeah, we have people that's not in the military that's injured and hurt, and they have resources for them, but for veterans, it's like a brotherhood of understanding, like, hey, we serve together and we can play together.
The Warrior Games being canceled broke my heart. Built up so much team camaraderie with the team that we had together. Been on multiple teams, and I buy into the family mentality. And there's never been a better group of guys and gals that I've ever been around than the team that we assembled for the Team Marine Corps. And I love these guys, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for them. There's no can't with the team that I've been with and the like-minded individuals. And there's always a way, and adaptive sports will find you a way.
I do understand their level of disappointment, having, trained and having gone out and gotten prepared, and everybody's getting excited, and the fact that the families and the caregivers would be there. I understand that disappointment. This is one of those life obstacles that sometimes when we're walking our path, we tend to hit a bump in the road. And this is just one of those bumps in the road, but we have overcome quite a bit from the beginning of the pandemic, and that you were able to overcome that obstacle in itself by being able to get out there and compete and practice and train and participate in different activities. And so I would say that you should continue to do so, because you do have to adapt and you do have to overcome. to continue on your journey, your path to being successful. While it may be disheartening, it's also an opportunity still for you and your families to celebrate the achievements and the accomplishments that you've made, and then moving forward, continuing on, and maybe encouraging others to participate in the adaptive reconditioning activities that helped to bring you this far.
My injuries happened in July 5th, 2007 in Baghdad, Iraq. We were going out on a mission. I was the gunner on the 1151 Up Armored Humvee, and we passed the Ipeak checkpoint, and I would say probably no more than like 100 yards off. EFP went off, and I suffered the injuries of below the knee amputation right on the spot, pretty much left below the knee, and fractured my right femur, fractured my patella, tibia. So after being injured, I ended up in Walter Reed and went through a bunch of surgery, reconstructive on the right knee, and took a long time. I spent 2.5 years there recovering. Had a prosthetic pretty much within like 2 months after my injury. All the other adaptive sports that I did was like cycling and some seated discus throwing, some like track and field, and it was great, but it was more of a single sport type thing. And when doing Warrior Games back in 2013, 14, I enjoyed the team sports more. There was more camaraderie, more connection. So sailing was kind of that. You know, you get into the boat, there's only 3 or 4 of you on the boat, and you connect to everybody, and you see how you can work together to do a specific task, get the boat moving in a certain direction.
No. Yeah, keep going. It's about 2 o'clock. All right, you're too low. Go up, go up. Pull it towards you, pull it towards you. You're like literally. That's good, that's good.
So it worked really well, and not only that, eventually, you know, doing a 3-day camp, you get this connection with the veterans that you're with. Adaptive sports definitely changed my life. It gave me now, you know, a job, something to do, something to give purpose to my life. There's an adaptive sport for everybody out there, and you know, if you don't need the adaptations because you believe you can do it the same way you did before, then go for it too. You know, I mean, it's your capabilities that make a difference out there. You know, so if you put yourself out there to try anything, you're more than likely going to do it one way or another.
So I was injured in Afghanistan in 2011. I was driving back to Leatherneck, and we were on like a 7-day convoy, and we were picking up another small QRF team that had been hit, and they couldn't operate, so they embedded in our convoy. And while we were trying to embed them in our convoy, I hit an IED, basically crushed my leg completely between the door and where the blast was underneath my seat. And then I was medevaced out, went through several surgeries, and then I had, probably 6 years later, I ended up with I did the limb salvage. I ended up with below the knee amputation because I had such bad nerve damage and dead nerves in my leg that it was basically a useless leg at that point. After I've taken up adaptive sports, I definitely feel like my purpose in life has changed tremendously. I got out of the Marine Corps in 2018. I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do. I didn't know where I wanted to be in life, but I knew that I loved doing adaptive sports. I knew that's where my heart was. It took me a long time to kind of find my place, but after doing several Warrior Games and Invictus, I've realized that adaptive sports is what I want to do. I want to be able to coach adaptive sports. I would love to play on leagues, and it makes me feel like I can give the best to my children and my family and the people around me because I have such a positive outlook because of the adaptive sports that I've been able to play, and it's completely changed my life for the better.
Got to start doing them with this on, start finding the notch. So with COVID this year for the Warrior Games and for the training camps, we were unable to attend in-person camps. In a normal year, we would normally have multiple training camps, we would have an in-person trials, we would also have multiple team camps once the team had been put together. With COVID, everything was virtual, everything was Zoom calls. We did multiple training camps with Zooms, but we also did our entire trial process to put the 2021 team together virtually through Zoom calls.
The USA national team has with sitting volleyball?
As I noticed something was wrong with my vision, I went in for a full neural screening, received an MRI, and was told the news that I had multiple brain tumors pressing on my optic nerve, which was causing a lack of blood flow through the optic nerve to my eyes. The surgery was successful to remove the front brain tumor. However, the rear brain tumor was in the mobility part of my brain and was too risky to do surgery. The next step after the surgery was to plan treatment for the rear brain tumor, which consisted of 3 months of radiation followed by 9 months of chemotherapy. So after surgery and after going through 1 year of treatment, my vision is complete blindness in my left eye. In my right eye, I have no peripheral view, and I only have central, which is 9% of a visual field test. The thought of being taken out of my military career, being at the age of 29, knowing I would never drive a vehicle again, never ride my motorcycle again, where you are in life at that point and where you want to be and the thoughts of what is possible. Never in a million years would I have imagined at that time I would be competing with Team Navy in the Warrior Games in an adaptive sports program on a national level. Since I have started adaptive sports, it has given me a stronger sense of purpose. And with that, it has given me the opportunity to help my teammates with their goals and through their recovery process.
I was stationed at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I'm an AIT instructor there, and I ride motorcycles. And I was the road captain, and I set up a ride with my group and went. And that day, a truck hit me on the side, and from there, I lost my leg. So it happened so fast, but I'm blessed I'm still here. So I can't, complain about that.
Watch your back, watch your back. Does that make you allergic?
I think adaptive sports matters because some people going through so much, and the only way for them to stay positive is keep their life busy by doing all these sports. And that's how I am. Like if I'm not doing anything else, it keep me negative thoughts. So when they had all these sports giving me that I can do, and I stay positive. I'm married, I have a wife, 3 kids, 2 girls and 1 boy. My first daughter is 9 years old, my second daughter is 6, and my youngest boy is 2-year-old. I'll say to my kids, they know that I'm very active, and they see me doing all these sports, and it makes them happy. And hopefully in the near future, they could see me and they could adapt what sports they want to do, and I'll be there for them.
You got to use all those little things like flags, you know, stuff on the back of a boat. You see smoke coming out of a boat or whatever. That's what I use to figure out which way the wind is blowing. You know, because sometimes there's a little bit of a different direction, or is there more wind? We happen to be next to an airport. But from here, I can't see the windsock, so I don't know.
You know what? Hey, Rob, you know what I've been using?
What's that?
Your lovely hair.
That sounds like jealousy to me.
That's what I'm using.
I had no clue what the Warrior Sailor Camp would involve. I looked at videos and what have you, and you know, individuals seemed like they were having fun and they were getting something out of it. But again, I didn't know personally what I would get from it. The guys, the teammates on my particular craft, they've been awesome. It's almost like we've gone through something like when we go through selection, we become brothers to an extent. So it's been enlightening. I've had a really good time so far. I see a lot of similarities between the Warriors sailing camp compared to a ODA or a Special Forces team. Everybody on that boat has a particular responsibility, and beyond just the sailing, I've bonded with some of my teammates on the ship, and we've driven and had conversations and really kind of talked about some of the issues that kind of plague us at this point. What I've also enjoyed and I can take away from is I've talking to some of the older, more senior veterans, and just sitting down and just listening to their story on what they've gone through and seeing the similarities. It's been priceless. I've gone through the several IEDs. We lost, and I still have like some regret.
Survivor's guilt?
Yeah, yes, I do. And, you know, counseling, they tell me, hey, you know, you did what you should have done, but still, those things make me almost like a perfectionist on everything. And sometimes that's a problem.
That's okay. We still need to get them, right? Right. So let's come up and get the boat moving. Okay. Just because we didn't make a good turn or whatever, doesn't matter.
I would say, in my limited experience, because this is my first go, that adaptive sports could have a real bearing on someone's life. Me personally, I think it changed my life for a positive. Because not just the sailing aspect of it, but also knowing that I'm not the only one. And sometimes, it may be not correct, but sometimes you understand that, hey, my situation is bad, but somebody may have it worse than I do. And just being in that arena, getting that experience, you sometimes can take the focus off of what your problems are sometimes. I think that really can save lives, to be honest. I think adaptive sports, for that reasoning in itself, knowing you're not the only one, and just being surrounded by those type of individuals, I think it can make a positive change. And if you're on the verge of doing something you may not be able to come back from, I think this will definitely help.
I want you to come out here with an open mind today. Forget everything that you've ever heard about shooting, you've ever done about shooting. I know probably everyone's at least shot like an M9 once in their career, probably an M4, maybe something bigger, I don't know. All that stuff, throw it out the door because it has no application to what we're doing today. Air rifle and air pistol is such a different discipline than any of that stuff that you learn in the military. It's a lot of fun, but the reason I bring that up is if you come out with this with an open mind, you're going to have a great experience and you're going to do really well.
Military adaptive sports are so critically important to athletes and just to airmen or any of the services that are trying to find that recovery following being classified wounded, ill, or injured. And I've seen it firsthand with athletes that you see a lot of, I would say, people in the program that maybe, I'm not for sure what the average age is, but to me it seems like we've got people between their 20s and 30s most commonly. And you find people that never expected to be 22 years old, sitting at home feeling sorry for themselves because they're missing a leg or they got some serious back injury, and they're like, oh, life can't go on. And what's so exciting about military adaptive sports is it gives them an opportunity to get off the couch, to get back out there and try a bunch of different sports that they've maybe never given a thought to or had an opportunity to try out. And that's a twofold experience, because one, it teaches people that, again, that are just kind of down on themselves or down about their condition, that life does go on and that they can find a new normal and perhaps, do some things that they had no idea that they could do. But the other part of that equation is that sometimes you have people discover a hidden talent.
Because if the longer you hold it up there or whatever, you're going to fatigue more. It's going to be a bad shot. Undoubtedly, it's always going to be a bad shot. So you line it up, you bring it up, trying to bring it together, and it doesn't happen. Just reset.
I would definitely say that military adaptive sports saves lives and changes lives. I mean, it's so helpful for people that, again, find themselves classified as wounded, ill, or injured. The light I can see turn on sometimes in these athletes, especially athletes that might return from a previous year's camp. You meet them maybe a few months post-injury or post whatever they have going on, and they're not doing so great. And they're trying to, find out, well, what's going on in my life, like what's going on with my career, where are these things going? And when they come out to these camps and they're pushed through in a way that, again, shows them that they can do a lot more than they thought they could, it's exciting to then see them come back at a subsequent camp with a totally different attitude.
But I hope you guys utilize this, first off, as a way to kind of heal yourselves, right, for lack of a better term. And then, obviously, we're going to do our best to give you little tidbits so you can better take care of your wounded warrior. All right? Well, thank you guys very much. It is very rewarding to see the good work that this organization is able to do in terms of providing the support, specifically in a care event, but then also hearing from the warriors about what their RCC, their Recovery Care Coordinator, or their NMCM, their non-medical case manager, the personalized service that they were able to provide. Our program helps them navigate that process, and we believe provides them resiliency and then the ability to take care of things on their own, right? So we're not necessarily doing everything for them, we're helping them and we're teaching them do these things for themselves so that they need less support in the future, and they are active members. They're able to operate on their own and overcome some of the difficulties that they've had while in the military.
1, 2, 3, Jose!
Because I was a warrior and now I'm a caregiver, seeing her in that way, I didn't just see her as my wife, but also as a wingman, and you don't leave your wingman behind, and it's something I was okay with. She's still active duty, she's got her TDYs, her deployments, we have children, 2 great children, and so that's my responsibility as a father. So I'm gonna do that, and I just kind of, a little bit of a transition at first, but it's my responsibility and it's an honor. The advice for a new caregiver, give yourself some patience. It can be overwhelming sometimes. If you have to keep a journal or notes, especially with the medicines, trying to almost getting organized. But another very important thing is don't forget about yourself. I think I've done that. I've forgotten about myself until came to this weekend. I was saying in some of the groups that a dead battery and can't jumpstart a car. And so even though that's your spouse, that's your where your heart is at, you want to help them. At the end of the day, you have to, kind of take care of yourself as well. So being organized and then sometimes recharging your own batteries. That's my mission, is to take care of as much as I can take care of so she doesn't have to. And it's going to be interesting when she gets out how that mission might change, but I think with some of this stuff, because she lost her motivation, she's struggling, but hearing the way she's talking with the sports stuff, I think that's going to be a really, really good thing for her.
So I served as lead female vocalist in the Air Force's premier rock band for almost 7 years. And so I was used to being in the spotlight. I have had some really incredible opportunities performing on stage and in front of thousands of people. And that was all positive. My life looked so glorious on social media. And in a way, I was living the American dream. But what I didn't share was the behind the scenes. I suffered in silence because I was too intimidated and I was too scared to speak up about what was truly going on when you took a peek behind the curtain. I fell victim to really extreme cyberbullying online, and unfortunately I was also bullied pretty severely internally within that organization.
When she first went in the military, she was very energetic and healthy, mentally, physically, just ready to take on the world. When she returned, it was another story. I feel like she returned very broken mentally and physically. So I knew that was going to call for some very intense therapy.
That's why I'm here as part of the Air Force Wounded Warrior Ambassador Program. I'm here because my story matters. My voice matters. And although I am not currently using my voice to sing, I'm now finding a new fulfillment and purpose by using my strength to be vulnerable, using my voice to share my story on a platform that can help so many other people who are struggling, who have been discriminated against, who have been victims of cyberbullying, sexual assault, sexual harassment, and that's why I'm here.
When I got here, I had a lot of anger built up inside of me, and my whole family had a lot of anger. And I've learned that it's okay to be not okay. That's the biggest thing. Talking to these people, hearing their stories, has helped us and me with our story. The compassion that these caregivers shown for each other is unbelievable. This is sharing experiences and with each other, teaching each other how to deal with our warriors, because this is truly an amazing program.
Music has always been a part of my life, whether I was listening to it, and then of course I started performing when I was about 12 years old and then started pursuing music on a more professional level. I did go through a time where I saw music as the enemy and I blamed music for putting me in a hostile environment, and it's taken a lot of therapy for me to really work through that, and I realize now that it was the environment and music was never to blame. So I'm gonna take a little bit of time and decompress from my Air Force career and spend some time with family, travel a little bit, and just focus on my recovery and healing.
to the boots on the ground. We know why we stand together on freedom.